and I'm one of the designer makers at Designer Makers 21. I have been a member here for 3 years nearly, and I was very excited to be given the opportunity to have a studio here. I haven't got into textiles through a particularly conventional route. I trained as a teacher in English and drama and worked for about 30 years in that. I still work as a teacher as well, teaching drama and theatre studies. However, I was offered the opportunity to do an MA in textile design about 6 years ago, and that kind of confirmed that this was a path that I wanted to follow. I first made felt, must be about 17 years ago, and what struck me about felt making was that it was quite unpredictable, and what I really loved about it was that even if you planned the kind of colours and the kind of shape that you wanted to produce, that you could never entirely predict what happened. And actually that's what I really liked about it, was that element of surprise. And I think that's probably a thread that goes through all of my work. So I'm going to be making a piece of fabric which is 2 colours and allows one of the colours to bleed into the other, and then that is simply made into a little bag. So as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm laying all the pieces in one direction. The next layer is going to go across, so we work vertically and then horizontally. Now this process of actually laying out can take probably about, to do a bag like this, I would say it's probably going to take me possibly 20 minutes to lay all of this out. So you're not going to actually see all of this on this little film, but I will continue, and in the brown I'm going to actually do 4 layers, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I will actually change to the green, and I'll just show you how that's going to work against the brown. So the next 3, the remaining 3 layers will be done in the green. What I will then do, and obviously I'm not going to necessarily show you this here, but if you do one of my workshops, this is what you would learn to do. I wrap the laid pieces in a little parcel, which is quite sweet really. It's in a net curtain because this actually protects the fibres when you're felting it, and keeps it all together. And then the next stage in the process is to put boiling water on this, or as hot water as you can stand. You have to wear rubber gloves. And then I use this soap then. So I will then drag the soap over the net. Once I've wetted and once I've applied the soap, I'm then going to roll it in the little bamboo mat, and then I go through a process of felting. This is quite physically intensive and actually builds your shoulders up, so it's quite good. So I feel like I do my workout when I'm making my felt. The pieces that I do, like these pieces here, have different colours actually laid on the top layer, and this piece here has actually a little bit of 3D kind of texture in it, and I did this by actually pinning it while it was still wet, so that you can see from the back the kind of creases that appear here. And one of the qualities of felt is that it's very, it's shape forming, so when it's wet it will form into any shape that you actually shape it around. So you can actually create 3D structures while it is wet, just by drying it around whatever shape you wish to. So that's actually quite interesting, I think. This piece here, you'll notice, is probably similar, get it off, is kind of similar colours. This is one of my favourite pieces, and this was inspired by a visit last year to Florence. And I wanted to take the idea of the frescoes, the medieval frescoes, and so I built up colour starting with a light background and then built up layers of colour in response to the visual research that I'd done, which is on here. These are the photographs that I took in Florence, and I think, as I maybe said, photography is something that I do a lot of, and I often use photography for research, for visual research, and enjoy framing the shots and capturing moments, and also choosing splashes of colour that I can then use as an inspiration for my felting. The whole process for me is, as I've said before, is actually really important, and it encompasses on an emotional level, I think, and a physical level, very much a learning process for me and a growth process for me, and I don't actually know what I'd do without it really. I think in terms of being creative, I feel like I can breathe properly. I think that's actually what it means to me, that actually it frees me and enables me to exist on a different level, away from, in a sense, the rest of my life, and it kind of takes me to another place. And some people might say that that's kind of a spiritual thing, and maybe it is. For me, it is. I feel freed to breathe. That's actually what it means to me.